very good question, and one that has perplexed myself, a lot of the special education administration and teachers that I have to deal with regards to resolving these cases, and then obviously parents and advocates. I believe that it's a collision of multiple factors, state requirements for graduation, the federal reporting for cohorts of graduation classes, which is connected to every Student Succeeds Act. All of those things, along with the IDEA's mandate that we put children in their least restrictive environment, okay, exposed to the general curriculum. So aspects of your question, absolutely spot on. But at the same time, where is that conundrum that you talk about with regards to grade equivalency for math and reading, for example, that is around a third grade level, fourth grade level, which is very, very common because the natural focus in this country with regards to teaching children to read is kindergarten to third grade is learning to read, and then it shifts over to reading to learn. And this is where a lot of kids get fundamentally stuck. And a lot of the math issues are connected to reading, okay? So you address a lot of these reading issues, you see a lot of these math problems also track as far as progress at the same time. So as far as sticking a child in their least restrictive environment, let's say that they're in a ninth grade general education setting for the majority of the time, maybe the school system is deciding to push special education services in, or they're in a collaborative math class for ninth grade. I'm not saying that that's the solution at all. I don't believe it is. And I completely agree with you that we're not serving the child and we're not providing the child a FAPE if they're performing continuously at a third grade level. And we're not making tangible, measurable gains. And I'm not talking about clapping our hands and being proud of a 6-month gain for a child that's in the ninth grade, because every time that they advance a year, that 6-month gain is wiped out. And so in reality, they're just sort of spinning their wheels, and that gap continues to widen. All right, so I'm not one of those that agree with that. At the same time, you do have those other requirements that are pressing against the child, and then a natural system that is focused on keeping the child on track for their graduation, to stay with their cohort, okay, which the feds determine at the ninth grade with regards to how the schools track graduation rates, okay? So it's all of those factors. At the same time, I believe that that is exactly what was envisioned or what I think the original intent was behind specialized instruction. Okay, the child being exposed to their general curriculum while being pulled out to individually and specifically work on those gaps and those fundamental issues that are keeping the child spinning at that fourth or third grade reading or math level. And this is where a lot of the problem is, okay? Because a lot of school systems, a lot of IEP teams, a lot of ARD committees are simply not devoting the necessary time and focus in that specialized instruction realm. And unfortunately, a lot of our special educators simply do not have the competency and the training to address these kind of fundamental gaps. And so they try their best, they do their best with what they have. And unfortunately, because of COVID, many schools have been pushing in, all of this technologically based sort of self-guided instruction that everybody paid millions of dollars for, because, these companies sucking all this money out of our education system saw an opportunity during COVID, and they pumped up all of these web-based programs. That's not, in my viewpoint, instruction, okay? It's a babysitting tool, and I think for repetitive practice, it does serve a benefit, but we're losing that human-to-human instruction. And because we have so many children, especially since COVID, all of that learning loss is coming back to bite us. We just simply don't have enough special educators. We just don't have enough time. So they end up doing a lot of small group, or they end up pushing these services into classrooms in the form of collaborative help. Neither one of those, I think, solves the fundamental issues that you raise in your question. And so it comes back to your IEP team and really pushing for those individualized pull-out services to where they need to tell you what that methodology, what are they using? What peer-reviewed program are they using? Is it going to be human to human, or are they going to be using a web-based program? The devil's in the details and how it's explained and how many service minutes are devoted to address these problems. Now, if your child's in ninth grade, obviously your child's eligible until they're 21, and that includes tracking their diploma. But at the same time, there's many schools that are uncomfortable with that. So you need to keep that into your mind that you know, though your child remains eligible until 21, if they're tracking on their regular diploma path, then the natural urge of the school is to push them and keep them on track. Okay, that doesn't necessarily benefit your child. All right. The other thing that you need to watch out for is the over accommodation of your child that masks their deficits. Many schools, especially the older the children get, less focus is on the specialized instruction and filling those gaps. More focus is on the accommodations to move them out. Okay. And I'm not saying it's coming from a bad place. I'm not saying that people have ill intent. I'm just talking about the realities of what we're dealing with in public education.